Hello traders and welcome to MTI's Market Update. This is Kevin Dixon, Senior Trading Analyst at Market Traders Institute. In my 30 years of trading, I've traded most of my life in a bull market, and that's no bull stuff. I'll be straight up with you there. And the reason for that is because the equities markets are long vehicles. They'll always be long. That means that even the highs today will be broken tomorrow. Even the highs on the Dow will always set higher highs. Long vehicles, no short vehicles. Well, I'm here to talk about the Armageddon theory. That's right. What happens when the next bear market brings this whole deck of cards smashing down? It's going to be a really exciting time. But if you've never traded through a bear market, the duration of a bear market actually is a shorter period of time than the duration of a bull market. That's because, like I've said before, generally a bear market's going to be triggered by a black swan event. A black swan event is something no one sees on the horizon. Examples, the tech bubble bursting, like you couldn't see that happening. Come on. Or the subprime meltdown, becoming what it did to bring the markets down to historic lows. Well, you know what? That's great and all, but how do you flip a profit? Well, we're going to talk about that today, plus I'm going to give you my 6 stocks that are in the box. Let's get right to it right now, and I'm going to begin by talking exactly about the chart behind me, the S&P 500. Now again, all-time highs. You can only see what's happening here right now from the smaller macro sense of things, but when we've got all of our indexes here cracking, as you can see on this grid, then what happens next? What happens when the trend actually begins to fail? Well, here are a couple of vehicles that were created back in 2007, 2008. And so as I was just showing you the SPY, this is an exchange-traded fund called the SDS. And really what this is the S&P 500. The exact same stocks that are in the S&P 500 are in the SDS. The SDS is called an ultra short. So basically, the composition of this exchange-traded fund is to take the 500 stocks that are composed of the S&P 500 and short them times 2. Now think about this for a moment. It's at all-time lows. It's had to do stock splits because 0 is a number in the stock market. So as the markets were going higher, this continues to press lower lows. Now I'm only showing you a daily chart, but take it into your charts and take a look at the SDS and go to a weekly chart. It looks like it's traded at like $1,000, but it's never traded there before. Now we've got exchange-traded funds that track each of our major exchange-traded funds that are index tracking mechanisms, like the Dow, the S&P, the Russell 2000, the NASDAQ, financials, and they're moving at a faster pace because they're twice as weighted versus the benchmark index. So in other words, the Dow, single weighted. One stock of Johnson & Johnson. The DXD, double weighted. Takes 2 shares of Johnny & Johnny and shorts it. Now, again, follow what I'm going to show you because I'm going to take you into another comparison here where I'm actually going to superimpose the benchmark long over the benchmark short. Don't get confused. It's not confusing. This is just going to be something you'll look back on this day and say, my God, that Kevin Dixon guy helped me make a flippin' fortune. Now that line up top, the gray line up top is the DIA. That's the diamonds. Now do you see that this looks like an ink blot? It looks like the exact perfect opposite. So when I go and I advance this to a weekly chart, as it's loading up there, we'll explain what happens. We're going to be looking at more time, loading, loading, loading. And then when you get to see this, a light's going to go off because look at this time. Now look at how amazing this is. Now follow this. The gray line up at the top is the Dow Industrial Average, the diamonds. The red and green candlestick starts high to the left and low to the right is the benchmark tracking inverse exchange traded fund. Now look where the lines cross over each other. At the high top, at the low bottom. Now I can tell you for a fact DXD has never traded at those high levels of $229. But I want you to picture this. When the markets crash, this is going to dash to highs, period. These are optionable instruments. They're very liquid, which means that we have a lot of trading volume there. And the fact that they're optionable, heck, you can control them for periods of time with just putting a spot cash deposit down. Are you kidding me? I wish I would have had these vehicles back in 2007, 2008. That's why I'm telling you, look, now's not the time to pull these out because markets are crashing all-time highs. You'd be a fool to just start buying these up right now unless you were a fool for profits and you decided what you wanted to do was start building into a position for where Armageddon occurs. And believe me, folks, There'll be another bear market at some point. It doesn't matter who's the president, doesn't matter who's the king, God save the queen, but bear markets happen in a normal cycle of things every 7 to 10 years. So it's not necessarily that the economy is bad. It's not necessarily that the economy is good. The markets move in waves, but trends move in cycles. And so this is just a natural cycle. And as I've said, I probably traded through 4 bear markets in my life that were truly bearish. The last 2 have been pretty wicked. With technology as it is, this will happen fast. Bear markets have shorter duration. The bull markets, this will all be over within a 1.5 to 2 years. And at that point, you'll have made a fortune. So make sure you write down these symbols. This is DXD, Delta X-ray Delta, Dow Jones Industrial Average Ultra Short. Now I got a couple more. Let's go right in there and take a look at them for you. Now that would mean as well that this is the SDS, Sierra Delta Sierra. This is an exchange-traded fund that tracks the S&P 500. Here is the QID. The QID is the NASDAQ 100. NASDAQ 100 breaking all-time highs today. The QID setting all-time lows today. You know it. So again, when the cycle changes, these are going to cross over and look completely different. The QID will be up at the top, and the Qs will be down there at the bottom. And the last one we've got for you here this morning is TWM. This is the Russell 2000 exchange-traded fund. It's $12. It's $13. The ETF for the Russell 2000 is over $200. So what's easier on the pocketbook? Something that's $200, $170, or something that's $13? Now think about this as well. The derivative is priced here. The options priced here are going to be relatively cheap and easy, but because they're very volatile, the market maker likes to come in and add a little bit more onto the time value. So I've noticed that they'll be a little bit more expensive, but I can tell you for sure when the next bad event happens, when the black swan occurs, it's going to be very epic, it's going to be fast. These 4 ideas I just gave you will make you a stack of cash, no kidding. Now a couple of other items to talk about today. One involves Shazam. So let's get into the charts and talk about Shazam. What do you mean? What do you mean, Kevin? What are you talking Shazam for? Well, let me tell you a little story about a stock that we'll just call Amazon. Yep, you knew he was going to go there. Oh yeah, Mom told us that you'd be going there, Kevin. Well, $2,000. You heard it here first. You heard it here second. You heard it here third. Amazon over $2,000 today. This stock has rolled above $2,009. Let me take a look at the chart with you here. And Shazam Azan. Remember I told you the other day, I projected price targets to $2,021 and $2,059. Now, I hope you remember that, because it was just the other day that I was telling you where my targets are. Now, do you see my target's been struck in 2 days? Can you hear me now? Good. $2,021 plus, more upside. It's not splitting yet, so, you know, they talk about wanting to shake out the individual investors, but Amazon, next trillion-dollar company, sitting there right behind us in the charts. Apple also posting highs, Microsoft also posting highs, and this is what's been carrying your equities markets to the long side. Very, very well. And that's why the Dow hadn't been able to get new highs yet. Dow's kind of weighted down by Goldman Sachs and things like that. Some of the other trending stocks, IBM, that are having a hard time getting things going around. So don't you worry about the trend. The fear I was talking about earlier in the inverted exchange-traded funds, no need to get that golf club out of your bag. But when it's time, let's go with the Billy Baru. Now, how about talking about 6 stocks in a box? Now, I've got 6 stocks I'm going to take you into next as I walk away from Shazamazon. I'm not even going to go into Apple. I'm not even going to go into Microsoft. I'm just going to go to my 6 stocks that are in the box. Handpicked, lovely, and ready to go. Now, first, I'm going to start with one that I flat out missed an opportunity on the other day. This is Square, Sierra, Quebec. Now, again, this is a payment company like PayPal. We did catch up with PayPal, but Square, PayPal, these are moving within the Internet of Things. Look at this beautiful trend. It broke out from 72. I was trying to get in. It ran 16 points. 16 points. Well, I made some good trades, made plenty of cake on Square. There's going to be more there as it's on its way to $100. Don't doubt that. If you didn't catch my call on Shazamazon, this is going to go above $100. It will. It's not there yet, so we want to wait for a dip, but it's a beautiful chart. Setting new 52-week highs today. Got a few more for you as well. Let's get right on into those. Here is a lovely little stock, NVIDIA. NVIDIA and AMD are both on our list here today for stocks on the box. Now, these are, like Square, affiliated with the Internet of Things. NVIDIA, after having some earnings whoopsies, went through and crashed through 281, setting new highs on the day. I'll speak to this in the same sentence with AMD. Now, AMD is actually the best value stock that I've got in the box for you because AMD is only 25 bucks. But think about it. This was just 12 bucks not too long ago. It's over 100% ROI. You can see here that some of our lows down there, $11, $12, and this just goes back to May of this year. To May of this year, $25. It's really amazing. So it's a very liquid stock. There are a lot of options out there in case you want to buy some calls, in case you want to get some longer term calls, even leaps or something like that, which is a long-term equity anticipation position. Good liquidity helps ensure that you'll be able to take that side of the market when necessary. Now, we've got a few more, and we're running short on time, so let's get right into the charts. Next up is going to be a new addition to our stocks in the box, Grubhub. Grubhub. We've gotten so lazy here in America that not only are we going to continue to go through the drive-through window, we're going to have people deliver things to us. Grubhub, Uber Eats, you never have to leave your house anymore. Get up and go outside sometimes. It's really an amazing place out there. I can understand just wanting to answer the door and get your sandwich. Grubhub above 150 here on the day, or advancing to 150 on the day, looking pretty solid and sharp, but this has been a really good trending stock anyway, so it's added as our stock on the box, waiting to look for another dip to continue to get long. Now we got two more, and I'll head for the door. Next up is Exact Sciences. Exact Sciences was in the box the other day. I like this consolidation pattern. It breaks 76.50, get long. That's all there is to it. Higher lows and a consolidation. It's either going to break out or fake out and then come down off of those highs. But as it sits there, we like it pretty well. Now the last one I'll visit. It was Apple after all. It was Apple after all. Thank you, Apple, for all-time highs. Looking great. Apple's carrying the NASDAQ, and the three leadership stocks in the NASDAQ are all leading at the same time. Apple, Microsoft, the two heaviest weighted, and then Shazamazon, who's the new hitter on the block. It's really exciting times in the market there. But remember, like I said before, all good trends come to an end. So in that sense, when the next trend comes to an end, we'll be working with those inverse ETFs that you've learned about today, one of the greatest secrets in the stock market that's out there as well. Listen, either way, I hope you have a great day with Market Traders Institute. This is Kevin Dixon. Thanks again for tuning in to the Market Update. We will see you next time.